What a wonderful day for an exorcism and for my very first reading vlog. In today's video, I'm going to be reading The Exorcist for the first time. So say your prayers, put on your Sunday best, and let's get rowdy with Captain Howdy, and let's get this vlog started. I have been a fan of this film. It's a classic horror movie about a girl who becomes possessed by the devil. The book has always been on my TBR and everybody always recommends it to me. And lately I've been on a religious horror kick, so I just picked this one up and I'm excited to finally read it. I'm excited to see how it compares to the film, if there's more detail in the book than there was in the film. Today is Sunday, March 7th, and the book is almost 400 pages. This will definitely take me probably about a week to read if I have a good reading week and read every day.
I'm a very slow reader, so
we'll see how this vlogging thing goes. I might not vlog every single moment of my reading time. You're seeing the start. Just finished the first chapter, which was 49 pages. I feel like it took me an hour to read. We're getting a glimpse into the life of Chris McNeil and her daughter Reagan, and they're having some strange activity in the attic, and she thinks that there are rats in the attic, but weird stuff is happening. Reagan is downstairs in the basement, the playroom basement, playing with a Ouija board. And we all know from horror movies and shit that nothing good comes from playing with Ouija boards. So Reagan has been talking to some dude on the Ouija board named Captain Howdy. Fuck Captain Howdy, okay? Captain Howdy is no good. I'm getting really nervous because I know who Captain Howdy is, and he's fucking with Reagan. So I'll check back in when I read a little bit more, but I have a feeling it's gonna amp up soon and weird shit is already happening. Captain Howdy is already in the house. Pazul? Is that his name? Pazul? I don't know if that's how you say it, but devil has landed, okay? He's already there. He's ready to take Reagan. And I'm worried for her. Hi, it is Tuesday, March 9th, and I did a little bit more reading. I didn't do any reading yesterday because I had a really bad day. It's really amping up, and I'm pretty excited. So we finally got a brief introduction to Father Karras, who is kind of brooding and he's struggling with his faith, and he recently lost his mother and he has a lot of guilt about it because he kind of left her to live on her own. We haven't really spoken or heard from him a lot in this, but we just got a brief glimpse at him. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, Reagan has been experiencing changes in her behavior, and Chris, her mother, is really worried about it, and she also has been speaking to her imaginary friend, Captain Howdy, who is not fucking good news, okay? Then Chris had a big party where she invited a bunch of people, including a priest. In the course of the evening, Chris is speaking with the priest about this black mass that occurred at the chapel across the street or down the street from where she's staying. But a black mass is basically like a regular mass, but satanic, like they worship evil, they worship the devil. And then later on in the evening, Reagan comes down the stairs and she pees on the floor in front of everybody, and that's kind of an infamous scene in the film, so I knew it was coming. I was waiting for it. And then after, Chris is speaking to her friend, Mrs. Perrin, and she tells her about how she's been playing with a Ouija board. And Mrs. Perrin reacts weird. She tells her I would stop her from playing with the Ouija board. And it's like, yeah, stop her from playing with the fucking Ouija board, okay? Clearly, the Ouija board is no good. And then the chapter ends with Reagan screaming, and Chris runs into the room and she sees that the bed is shaking. So shit is going down. We have a possession and we're gonna need an exorcism. So I will touch back with you later when that shit gets started. I am about 120 pages into this now, or like 130. And the shit is getting real, okay? Reagan has been having some tests done to figure out why she's acting so weird. And then Chris McNeil, the mom, calls the doctor to say something's going on with Reagan. Please hurry. The doctors get there and Reagan is convulsing and she's literally lifting up out of the bed and her body is like contorting all around, and then she starts doing some stuff to herself, and it's a little uncomfortable to read. And she said, the sow is mine, which is a line from the movie. So it's pretty incredible how well the movie is adapted from this, because it's very similar. Reagan is fully possessed now. Pretty much. I mean, she still has a little bit of herself in there, but Captain Howdy has taken over. I want to get back into it, so I'll update you when I get a little further in. Wish me luck. Hello. It is Thursday, March 11th, and I am about 200 pages in to The Exorcist, and I am fucking loving it. It's so creepy. It's so well written, and it's so graphic. Last night I got to the infamous crucifix scene. It was really cringy and hard to read, and I was like audibly gasping and shouting while I was reading the book. It's such a different experience than watching the movie. Reading it, like I feel like I'm reading things I shouldn't be reading about, and I feel like I'm going to hell. My dog is now licking my feet. If I had nightmares last night, I had dreams that someone was trying to kill me. So yeah, I would say that's a success. If a book makes me have nightmares, it's a good horror read. Also last night while I was reading it, can you stop licking me? He's licking my feet. Yeah, excuse me, sir. You gotta ask first. Anyway, so while I was reading last night, I realized that the sequel to the Exorcist book is Legion, and Exorcist Part 3 is the film based on Legion. I had absolutely no idea. Everybody always raves about Exorcist 3, and now I know why. I didn't realize it was written by William Peter Blatty, and it was directed by him too, I believe, and that the cop in part 3 is in part 1. There's a cop in this book, by the way. So anyway, that cop, who is in the first film, I believe, but I can't remember, he's also in part 3, and I'm assuming the sequel, Legion, focuses on him. And in part 3, he's played by George C. Scott. So I'm just excited to finish reading this one, watch the movie again, and read Legion for the first time, which I ordered on eBay because I can't control myself, okay? I cannot control myself. I will check back later today when I have hopefully read a little bit more. All I can think in this scene that I'm reading now, where Father Karras is first meeting Reagan while she's possessed, is the scenes from Scary Movie with like Andy Richter dressed as I think Andy Richter. And she's like, your mother's in here with us. And he's like, Mom, get out.
Lord.
Your mother's in here with us, Harris. Would you like to leave a message? I'll be sure that she gets it.
Yes, Mom, will you get out of there, please? You're no fun. I'm working.
See you later, Mrs. Harris.
I'm on page 320 now in this, and I'm nearing the end. Kind of felt like it was dragging along a little bit towards the end because Father Karras is still questioning whether or not Reagan is actually possessed. So there was a lot of him investigating and trying to find things to prove to the church that she's actually possessed, because in order for him to perform an exorcism, he has to get approval from the church, and that's not so easy to do. At the end of the chapter, Chris's assistant brings him up to Reagan's room, and she shows him that writing is forming on Reagan's body, and it says "help me" in Reagan's handwriting, and that was like the thing that like sold it for him. So they're going to send somebody in who has more experience with exorcisms to help him because he's never done an exorcism before. That's where he left off, and I'm nearing the end, which I'm really surprised because I thought that the exorcism was going to be a bigger part of the book, but I think it's just going to be the end, basically, because this is it. I will follow back up when I've read a little bit more and hopefully finish this book soon and see the exorcism. Hey guys, so it is Saturday, March 13th, I believe. And I finished reading this a little after midnight last night, and this is a really good book. I really enjoyed it. It was pretty similar to the film, and that makes sense because the author wrote the screenplay for the film. A lot of what is in the book made it to the film. I plan on watching the film tonight and comparing. The final 30 pages, I feel like, were mostly the exorcism, the actual exorcism, where Father Marin, who is the exorcist, is called in to come and do the exorcism for Reagan, and Father Karras comes in and assists him. And this is the scene. Barlow just walked in and he grunted, in case you can hear anything, but this is when things amp up and there's kind of a tension in the air, like everyone knows that something bad is going to happen, and Father Marin especially knows that. He's kind of older and more frail and fragile, and Reagan, or Pazuzu, I don't know why, is it Pazuzu? I think that it's Pazuzu. Anyway, the demon possessing Reagan knows that Father Marin is like on its last leg and takes advantage of that, and that's what the demon does. It preys on your insecurities, your weaknesses, your faith, what's going on in your mind. It knows everything that you're thinking and everything that it can use against you to break you down. And it does that to Karras, where the devil or the demon pretends to be his mother and starts talking to him because Karras has a lot of grief or he has a lot of regret for how he left his mom to go and become a priest, and he has a lot of guilt over that, and the demon preys on that. And the end with the exorcism, I feel like it goes by so quickly. Like there's all this buildup and then it just happens and it's chaotic, and Karras, who has been struggling with his faith the whole time, he finally gets his faith back. Like he feels very strongly about God and about saving this girl, and he offers himself up to the demon to possess him because he is the perfect vessel for the demon. The demon likes the weak-minded, those who have a lot of questions about faith. The demon possesses him and he jumps out the window to kill it. He basically sacrifices himself in order to save this little girl. I think he finally found his faith again, and he did something positive with his life. He kind of atoned for his sins by sacrificing himself and saving Reagan. I feel like this story is not about Reagan, it's not about Chris like I thought it was. The story is about Karis. It's ultimately about his journey and how he is struggling with his faith, and he's struggling to find a purpose in his life, and how he gets that back in this horrific event. And it's interesting because the first half of the book, we don't even meet Karis really. It's mostly focused on Chris McNeil and her fight to figure out what's going on with Reagan. And then once she goes to Karis and begs for help, then it ultimately switches to his perspective, his journey into uncovering what's going on with Reagan and struggling to understand why this is happening to her, and just really it delves deep into that and his struggles with his guilt over his mother and everything. And I think ultimately it is his story. It's emotional as you watch him go through this struggle, and that he finds contentment after he sacrifices himself to save Reagan. It's such a well-written story, and the characters feel so real, and the dialogue feels so real. Everything feels so real, and characters feel lived in. So good. And it's terrifying. There's horrifying moments, super graphic moments, and it was hard to read. This book made me feel many emotions, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to read the sequel because it sounds good. William Peter Blatty is a great author. His writing was beautiful. I highly recommend this one. I just feel like this book is a lot to go through. I do want to continue my possession reading journey, but I think I need to take a break in between books because it's a lot, and I feel like I'm going to hell at some point. I'll probably watch the movie tonight, and then the documentary on The Exorcist that's available on Shudder, and I'll probably touch back with you. And there you have it. We survived my very first reading vlog and my very first exorcism. Thank you for watching. Let me know down below if you liked this kind of video, what you thought of The Exorcist, if you've read it, if you plan to read it. And please don't forget to subscribe if you're into seeing more spooky shit like this from me. And let's connect on social so we can become spooky besties and talk about spooky shit. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.